NKGSB कोऑपरेटिव्ह बँक 105 वर्षांची समृद्ध परंपरा. आमच्या सर्व ग्राहकांचे, भागधारकांचे आणि शुभचिंतकांचे मनःपूर्वक आभार.
Namaskar and a very, very warm welcome to all of you. NKGSB Bank presents Navaratrila Navarupe Tu. Celebrate the 9 days of Navaratri with 9 Mahagauris in the 9 different, varied and unique fields. Well, to talk about the NKGSB Bank, if you want to know more about it, do give a missed call on 022 28602020 or visit www.nkgsb-bank.com. Well, the contact number and the website are also mentioned in the scroll and the caption of this video. So you can click on the website link in the caption and directly visit the website. We're going to talk more about this, but now for today's guest. Well, for today's guest, she has earned her PhD in psychology, has experience in behavioral economics and decision sciences, data analytics, and product and strategy. She's been a university medalist for standing first in MSc in psychology. Well, let me welcome our guest today, Sagneet Kaur.
Thank you, Priyamda. Thank you so very much for such a great introduction and inviting me for the session.
Well, thank you very much. And I would like to tell our viewers that Sagneet is a behavioral economist and decision sciences leader. And I'm going to ask her a few questions because this is an area, Sagneet, I think not many people are aware of it, except for those who are in the field and have some kind of an expertise or, are related in their subjects to this particular field. So you are from this field of behavioral research. So do tell us more about the field as well as its application.
Great. That's a great question. And it's good to start with this note of telling people around what this whole field is all about. And you rightly said that very few people know about it, and that I've experienced every time wherever I've joined. People have been coming across and asking me this question: what is the role you have been playing and what you would do in this field? Specifically, when I entered the space of financial services, behavioral economics, everybody came across and asking me this question, that finances and behavior and psychology, how it is merging together. So just talking about behavioral research, first, I would like to talk more about behavioral science as a field. So behavioral science is a science, a study of human mind and behavior. And it answers why of everything. So when I say why of everything, so we know, okay, we reacted, we acted in a certain way. But what is behind that? Why we did that? What motivations, what emotions, what are our cognitions? How are they playing the role behind the scenes? And you reacted in a certain way, or maybe you took a specific decision. So why you did that? So we generally, with the behavioral science research, we try answering the why of different sort of behaviors people do. That is our role. And one of my professors, when I was doing my master's and my PhD, one of my great university professors, they used to explain psychology or any sort of behavior, saying that there is ABC of everything. What does it mean by that? So behind everything, A is affective, that is emotions, B is behavior, and C is your cognition. And these ABC come together, and then they are seen, any phenomenon or any behavior or any action can be defined as A, B, C. So all these three components are there. They have to be there to explain the why behind any sort of action. So when it comes to behavioral science, I think in India and across the world, behavioral science has been applied wherever human beings are there and working there. So specifically talking about my field of behavioral economics, so we study the behavior of investors and advisors and different stakeholders of investing industry. How do they save? How do they invest? What are the decisions they take? What things? What motivations? What goals they churn for when they think about investments? So that is one area which we are trying to implement the theories, the research of behavioral science into actual actions. Another area could be when we talk about behavioral sciences, organizational development, organizational behavior, which is, you might have seen, there are specific posts which help in building using behavioral science frameworks and models and existing theories. They try building the culture of the company, the performance of people, helping in retention of people. And it is all backed by, I would say, the motivations, what people are coming with, the emotions, what people are coming with. Likewise, there are other fields where behavioral science has now been applied in the area of policy research, which is a very new sector today. And I think I've seen many students very, very excited about, and many new startups coming up in the area of developmental space and research who apply behavioral science theories and insights and do a lot of research around it and try to implement and apply those research findings and insights into preventing people or from maybe committing suicides and
violence
in the area of crime, violence, like reducing poverty, improving sanitation, etc. So these are the common problems which a society has been, an Indian society you have seen has been going through a lot. So they try to implement. And the other part which I think everybody knew about is the application of behavioral science and psychology in the space of counseling, in the space of like therapies and abnormal psychology. So that's that whole area. I think many over here, they could relate to and they could see.
Absolutely. Sagneet, you just said that your area of study focuses on understanding why people behave the way they do and how this behavior can be changed as well. So on one hand, when we talk about an extreme objectivity, we can relate to pure sciences where like 2 + 2 it has to be 4, or 3 + 1 has to be 4. But this kind of an objectivity is difficult when it comes to human sciences, because there's a lot of, possibility of your predictions going wrong. And psychology precisely tries to reach out to that space, tries to analyze how things can work possibly. So can you tell me how certain behaviors, as you said, can be understood as well as can be prevented? What I want to ask you is, what are the ways in which one can improve in this way to be more productive? Since I would know about why I'm thinking about this way, how can it help to be productive? Is there a possibility?
That's a great question. I think I have a couple of thoughts around when it comes to productivity, because I'm also working in a private sector organization in MNC where we work with teams, we work with even in the individualistic role, they are. It's not like that you are sitting on a seat and you're doing a specific work, but you have to, whether you're doing a specific work, but ultimately you have to go and share your work with others, maybe in terms of getting approvals, in terms of getting the go-aheads and taking that forward. And on a leadership role, it's more of networking. It's more of like doing everything as a team, taking your team along. So productivity at whether it's a junior role or a senior role, I think it's very, very important. I think a couple of things which I think we can do, and specifically talking about how behavior has been involved, how you can change your behavior. I think you need to change the frame of how you are thinking. And one good example, and a lot of research has already been there in this field, is I really believe that productivity is quite linked to your interest, quite linked to your values, quite linked to if it is satisfying the need which you have. So maybe need to accomplish anything, need to be there. Like I'm here, and my aspirations are to be to reach here. So we are so busy doing one or the other thing, but rather it's the time for everybody to stop and see what is self-concordant, what is close to my heart, what is close to what is fulfilling any of my needs, what is close to my interest. I think that is important. And if you're doing something which is of your interest, then definitely you're more productive in that. Another, like some general tips around improving productivity is we generally, like, we are so busy, we don't document things, we don't plan things the right way. I think planning, I use that PPT framework. That is my own which I've done. Which is
share it with us. Yeah.
Planning, prioritizing, and documenting. And I give equal weight to all of them. So your planning should be, including the execution part, your planning should be solid. Then prioritizing, what is important, what is impactful. So you have, say, 10 things in a day to do, or maybe 10 things in a month to do, or a week to do. You have to prioritize what is more impactful, whether it's a personal task or whether it's a professional task. What is more impactful for a business, for say, for when I'm working in a professional setting. And the third piece, which we always forget, and many times I do, is documentation. So whatever we have planned for it should be nicely documented, because, and this is one thing which I always talk about and say in every forum: if anything is not documented, then it's really a myth. If things are documented, then it boosts you. It motivates you that, yes, I have documented this, and this is my obligation. And that is where your motivations and behaviors also come into play. And you see that in a positive limelight, and you're like motivated to do that. That is I think I could say when it comes to behavior. Otherwise, in general, building communication skills, and today's youth is educated, literate youth is really good at that. So building communication skills, presentation skills, and articulation skills. These are the three skills which, when I go for hiring more people in my department, in my, like related to my role, I really pay a lot of weightage to these three things, which are easy to build, which already youth is coming with. It's just a little bit of polish you need. So your logic should be good when you're communicating things. You should present things in a precise, comprehensive, easy way so that people get engaged and it's interactive and they understand it easily. You're articulating things in your head nicely so that you're able to communicate. I think these are a couple of things which help you increasing your productivity. And as I said, self-concordant goals and aims, things are really important for you to be like really motivated towards your work.
So when you talked about planning and prioritizing and documentation, now I know these are important things, but most of the time, Sagneet, honestly, work always takes a priority, and you become a less priority as an individual, as a person. Your relationships kind of go on a back foot, and you always think that I have to finish this task. And so maybe, those things I think people will need to work upon to think exactly what is my priority, not just for the day, but the days ahead as well. And the second thing is, when you talked about documentation, I don't know, I mean, how frequently do you suggest that? Writing a daily schedule, doing a weekly, wrap up over all that you have done? Or I have a habit of writing my diary for years. I don't know, I have been sitting and writing my diary. At the end of the day, before I go to sleep, I definitely pen in few things, whichever I think as such. So how frequently do you think people should go back to their goals, their dreams, their priorities?
I think when it comes to like long-term goals or short-term goals in terms of investing or in general, it's good to have a collage in front of you. So prepare a nice wall. Maybe you don't want to like have a big wall, but prepare a collage in front of you of what you really want to achieve in, say, a short-term to long-term. And when it comes to like daily task or a weekly task, what I do generally is I pen down a couple of things in the morning itself. Like I spend 5 minutes, and it's not like it's initially it looks very difficult, but if you create it as a habit for the day, so at least for my work life, I do pen down 5 things or 10 things or whatever I have to cover. And then by the time I end my day, I just check them, so that it gives me an like instant evaluation of what I was supposed to do versus what I was able to do. And then I reflect back and see, okay, whether, okay, out of 5 things I was able to achieve, 3, why I was not able to achieve the rest of the 2. What was the hurdle?
Okay.
What were the obstacles? And tomorrow, if I can solve these obstacles or no, whether these obstacles were under my control, were they not under my control? So all these evaluations help me like prepare myself for the next day. And I think it's a good habit to do it for the personal life. At least jot down 2 good things which you want to achieve in your life, like in a day. Life is like too long and too short. You don't know what's going on. But it's good to have like a checklist in the morning for your personal life as well. And I think with work life, today's women is like really doing a fantastic job, going out, working, doing like fulfilling all their aspirations. Side by side, you have your family. And it's not for just women, but it's for men also. So I think we need to balance this nicely. And that is why I'm saying jotting down your personal day-to-day personal tasks as well. Like I need to spend 30 minutes with my family. We should be eating together or whatever it is. Enlist it, try to accomplish it. Maybe you will not be able to do it like for 1 day, 2 days or whatever. But if you make it a habit of at least writing and looking back at the end of the day, you will be able to implement it. I really believe
like aim the sky. Yeah, aim the sky, and at least you will land on the roof, if not anywhere else.
Absolutely.
So Sagneet, you just spoke about the whole idea of investment when I asked you this question earlier. So according to your research and your understanding, what do you think are the general influences on an investor?
I think when you go back to traditional finance, they say human beings are rational. But as you also mentioned in the beginning, we are not rational, because whatever we do, as I said, your cognitions, your emotions, they play a good role. And more than often, we generally fall prey to a lot of biases, a lot of like obstacles, which I generally call obstacles or biases, where we make nasty decisions. And that is the entire play of our brain. And it's like, it's not like we do it mindfully. Things run unconsciously in our mind. Our brain is wired in a very different manner, I would say, which propagates that bias. And we sometimes are not able to control ourselves. And how that plays is, so a lot of play around greed, fear, and sort of biases, they impact the way you make the decisions. And when I say they are backed by the unconscious mind, so it's like we have 2 brains, which is one is system 1, one is system 2, and there are so great books which are out there which you can go and read more about, like what do we mean by system 1 and system 2. But I briefly explain that how system 1 and system 2 works. So system 1 is basically, it's very quick. It's like always at default. So whenever a decision-making problem comes to you, for example, I want to buy a shirt. I have to make an economic decision, and I have to bring some money out of my pocket and give it to you, or give it to the person whom I would be buying. So in this small decision, my system 1 would come in and say, yes, I will help you. And I will help you with, maybe you can use the past experience. You would have gone to a nice, like you would have experienced a good brand. So just go and buy there. Or maybe you can take somebody along you that is past experience. So take somebody along and say, okay, if my friend would say, this is looking nice, or I look into the mirror and say, okay, this is nice. So that is a gut feeling I have. Or maybe price is taken as another method of using and taking that decision of buying a shirt. Is okay, if the price is high, the quality would be good. Or maybe if some other people are buying, I would go and buy an experience from that particular brand. So this is, I would say, this is a battalion of, this is the army of the system 1 who comes, pops in and helps you take the decisions. And in such small examples, in such decisions, this whole mental shortcuts, which I've said, past experience, social influence, or price, or gut feeling, they help you take those decisions. But when it comes to investing, they flip side. The context changes, and there the role of system 2 actually has to be taken precedence, which is quite processful. It will take some time to process things, digest things, and research well. So that is a system 2 which we want, but no, because system 1 is always at default. So we try to maybe sometimes take decisions using our past experience. So last time I invested in this went well, let's go. Other people are investing in this, let's go and invest. Familiarity bias. I've been investing in this from such a long time, it's giving me let's go and invest it. Price is another factor. Okay, price is going up. We are getting, okay, price is going up. We haven't bought this. Just FOMO effect comes into play, and we jump and like enter at the wrong place and diminish our like potentials for returns. And that feeling, okay, yes, this looks nice. Let's go and invest it. So these things really play a great role. Our brain is wired differently, and it like pushes you in a situation where you are taking wrong decisions. Rather, you have to hold yourself back. and
so you think, yeah, what we do in such situations where we should be a little more serious, we take a very simplistic approach. We think it's as easy as going to the shop and buying something, but which is not. You need a lot of knowledge, research, understanding of the market. You need to really delve deep into the whole process and to be able to take the decision. So I completely get your point here. I completely understand what you say, because how easily we fall in a trap, which we don't want to, but purely because of our lack of understanding, awareness, and a little sincerity that we should owe to ourselves, we end up doing this. Okay, I'll come to something very peculiar now. We're doing this program as a part of Navaratri, and we obviously have to talk about women and their lifestyles. So from your experience and your research, how do you explain a homemaker's economic behavior? And I'm not saying only women can be homemakers, anyone should be, but largely the experience is with them. So how do you think economic behavior of a homemaker or women's economic behavior in general is, according to your understanding?
So a lot of research, like internally in my experience, I haven't done a lot of research into the gender equality or like on women's specific. But when we talk about the economic behavior or like how women specifically, just looking at like the people around me and how they behave and what we have seen, like I have seen in my family growing and being cultivated, is I think I really believe that we are progressing. India in general is progressing, but when it comes to economic behavior, when it comes to financial decision making, we are still, females in specific, we are still sitting at a back seat. We have been culturally taking a back seat. It's been like seen as okay. When it comes to, yes, I'm working, I'm independent, I'm doing this and that, I'm fulfilling my aspirations. But when it comes to economic decision making, personal financial decision making, we always take a backseat, and many a times we do it, I would say, purposefully and by choice. We say, okay, the male members of the society or the male members of my family will be taking the financial decisions. I think and men, and most of it, I would say, is culturally drawn, because we have been taught like that, yes, okay, when it comes to finances, so daddy would be doing it, or brother would be doing it, or husband would be doing it, or tomorrow son would be doing it. But rather, I really think that if you're literate, educated, aspirational, working, this is a small piece which you can easily crack and should contribute as a family member. It is your responsibility. So whether it's by culture or it's by choice, I think I have seen females taking that backseat. I've seen my mates also taking that backseat. But I really believe that's very important for your financial well-being as a woman, and for your family's financial well-being. I really believe that your contribution as a family member, as an equal partner to your partner, is very, very important, which I think we all can do and we should be doing that.
Yeah, and going by my own experience also, and I'm sure many of them have experienced this at work also, even if it comes to checking out your salary or making investments, you often have these male colleagues come up and say, "Oh, I'll do it for you." It's a very kind of an approach, which is I'll be ready to help you because you don't understand anything much. So there are very few who actually come up, "Oh, do you not understand? Let me help you explain this." That is not an attitude. Usually it is, "I'll take over, you don't worry, and I'll handle this up." And I think, yes, you're very right, Sagneet, when you say sometimes women choose it themselves because they think if this is one area I can be, allowed to exit from and somebody can take over, maybe I'm kind of protecting myself from something, or I'm protecting a relationship or so. So the idea of stepping in, taking the charge usually doesn't happen. And I think this is the same because women deal, and this is something I want to ask you now, that many working women, finance is a very important part of it, but they work both at home, they work at workplace. And then, there's a certain burden on them to perform better in both the areas. What do you think, from whatever small research if you have had, how do you explain, what do you think are the problems they face? And how do you suggest to resolve these problems where they want to handle all the things, both the things, and many more things?
I think given the kind of structure we have right now in India, where more and more women are getting educated and they are doing whatever they want to do, and even parents are supporting it, I really don't see them vulnerable. And it's more of, if you are saying this, that they have to balance things and they have so many things to attend to at home, at personal life and workplace. I think I really would refrain from that vulnerability kind of a sort of a play when it comes to women.
Sagneet, allow me to, just a small one. Like, for example, now it's Navaratri. Okay, a lot of families, people will do the pujas and the aartis and a lot of many things. And so, looking at some other women, the one who may not be interested or keen on doing it is also forced to think, "Oh my God, am I being left out? Am I supposed to do this because everybody seems to be doing it?" Although she may be handling many important things otherwise. But this is something that she's kind of feels guilty and forced to.
Which is, I completely hear you out, but this is something which is kind of self-inflicted. This is the overthinking. This is the play of your mind. Rather in that situation, and that happens with every single person, I would say, whether it's a male, whether it's a female, because both of them, if they're working, they have certain responsibility at home, they have certain responsibility at workplace, and there are many things which they have to forego, or they have to leave because they are doing certain other things. But the problem is, we don't value what we do. We ourselves don't do that. Okay. We are contributing in many different forms and ways for our family, for us to towards our society, towards ourselves, towards our partners. I think it's the time to value yourself. That is one piece which we miss, and we just get affected by what people are saying. Okay, what my sasuma is saying, my sasuma is damn good, but what other people are saying, what society would say,
so is mine,
etc. So
right.
So that is something which we need to fix in ourselves, in our thinking. And why I was saying I would refrain myself from this vulnerable thought of women being doing this and that. I think men are also equally in the same place. They have so much, and culturally they have a pressure of being, okay, you are the male member of the society, so you have to be educated, you have to be the breadwinner, whether you have the capability or no. Tomorrow you have to go out and you have to be the primary breadwinner of the family.
I agree.
Female is working and male is not working, it's from our society, it's a big pushback for the males. So males also go through a lot, but I think it's time to recognize each and everybody's contribution and value it, and value yourself also, what you are contributing to everybody, and believe in yourself. I think that's what I could say here.
Okay. You've written a lot of you've written a lot of research papers and published quite a few of them. So I picked up one where there is some reference to children and their education. So what is the behavioral pattern of children, and does that impact the education system? And do you think the new education policy, which now has been released and implemented, does it consider this part?
I will definitely not talk about specific education system or the new education policy which has come out, because every policy which comes out, it has goods and bads of it. So let's not talk about and get deeper into it. But rather when it comes to children's behavior, so I did a lot of my entire PhD is in the space of ego identity development for and sample set was around adolescence. So we did design the intervention and tested it out. So that was, and a lot of research into the children psychology space. So summing things up and how I could brief that out in 2-3 lines or 2-3 minutes is that today's children are really, really good at, they're unique, everybody's unique, but they're really good at observation. They're really good at asking for logic. They're really good at implementing many things. So when I say they're really good at observation, so minute test, and I'm talking about a very small child. So my son is 3-year-old, and I could see, and I could just go back. I don't remember my bachpan and my childhood, but I've seen childhood of many children. Over years, that has been evolving. And today's child, whether it's 2, 3, they observe very minutely, and they interpret and they process things very nicely. And then they come out with so many things. So there's a lot of play around what you are doing. Small child playing with the help of associations of what they are seeing, what they are associating things to. There's a lot of play around it. As child grows into their field, by age, so many things come up. So it's very important as parents and as educationists when it comes to society, making rules for them, making policies for them, or as educationists creating policies for around education. We need to be very, very mindful of this fact that today's child needs variety. Today's child needs logic. You cannot make a child sit and say, okay, you do this thing because I'm saying. He will come back with a why.
Okay.
Yeah, they will come back with a why. And my son did that. Mama, why? He's just 3.25. That's small.
So that's the question we started our interview with. I mean, this discussion with. Behavioral science is all about asking why a particular thing happens and bringing out rationality. Okay, we're almost coming to the fag end of our program. And Sagneet, it has been wonderful, to get this peek into the behavioral sciences aspect of it. But now just tell me one question that I ask you. This is a program by the NKGSB Bank, again, as I'm saying, related to Navaratri and, empowered women and women who can contribute well to the society. So what do you think about an initiative like this, creating a platform like this?
I think it's a great initiative. I really, really believe that, because bringing people from different fields, bringing them together for in one single series is fantastic, and it would really, really inspire other women as well. And it will help them think in a broader and a different perspective. Yes, I can do it. And listening to all these interviews would really be a great chance for them to explore and empower themselves.
Viewers, I would like to say that if you would like to know more about the NKGSB Bank, do give a missed call on 022-2860-2020 or visit www.nkgsb-bank.com. The contact number and the website are also mentioned in the scroll, as I said earlier, in the caption of this video. You may click on the website link in the caption and directly visit the website. So Sagneet Kaur, Dr. Sagneet Kaur, thank you very much for being here with us on this show. And as I said, giving us a certain insight about, how as an individual, we do have a choice where we can grow, flourish and prosper. And I'll keep those PPDs in mind, definitely. And I hope our viewers do as well. So with this, we've come to an end of this program. We'll see you next time. Stay well.
Thank you, Navada. Thank you so very much for inviting. It was a fantastic session and wonderful talking to you. Thank you.
Same here. Thanks.
NKGSB Cooperative Bank 105 वर्षांची समृद्ध परंपरा. आमच्या सर्व ग्राहकांचे, भागधारकांचे आणि शुभचिंतकांचे मनःपूर्वक आभार.